I'm going on a date with a coworker, my wife said calmly after 18 years together. I warned her, if you walk out that door, everything will change. She ignored me and left. What followed shattered her completely in ways she never saw coming. My name's Ryan Mishi. I'm 46 years old, and I have spent the last 2 decades building something solid, a successful automotive parts wholesale business in Phoenix, Arizona, a beautiful house in Scottsdale, and what I believed was an unbreakable marriage. Jessica and I met when we were in our 20s. Around the time I was just starting out and she was finishing her marketing degree, we built our life together brick by brick. 2 children, Brandon 16 and Emma 11, completed what I thought was the perfect picture. But perfection is just an illusion, isn't it? The afternoon everything fell apart started like any other Tuesday. I came home from the warehouse around 6, loosened my tie, and found Jessica in the kitchen. She was not cooking. She was standing by the counter with a glass of wine in her hand, staring out the window with that distant expression I had seen more and more on her lately. "Hey," I said, giving her a kiss on the cheek. She barely turned. "We need to talk," she said dryly. Those 3 words never signal anything good. I pulled out a chair from the kitchen table, already feeling a knot in my stomach. Jessica sat across from me, swirling her wine, as if looking for courage at the bottom of the glass. "I have been feeling trapped," she began without looking me in the eye, as if I were living on autopilot. "Ryan, I need something for myself, something exciting." I leaned forward, trying to understand. "Okay, what are you saying? Do you want to join a class, take a trip?" She finally looked at me, and what I saw in her eyes made my blood run cold. "I'm going on a date," she said simply, "with someone from work." The words hit me like a freight train. I just sat there stunned, waiting for a punchline that never came. "A date," I repeated, my voice barely above a whisper. "You are married, Jessica. We have children." "What are you talking about?" She set her glass on the table with deliberate calm. "This is not about you, Ryan. I just need to feel alive again. I will make it up to you later. I promise." Make it up to me, as if she were asking to borrow the car for the weekend. 18 years of marriage, and she was asking me for permission to be unfaithful, as if it were some kind of trial separation. "Jessica, if you walk out that door to meet another man, there is no coming back," I said, my voice firm despite the rage building inside me. "I'm warning you, this will change everything." She stood up, grabbing her purse from the counter. "You are overreacting. I just need space to figure out who I'm." I watched her walk to the door, and every step felt like a knife twisting deeper. A part of me wanted to grab her, shake her into her senses, but I was frozen, clutching the edge of the table until my knuckles turned white. The door closed behind her, and the house fell silent except for the sound of my own breathing. That is when I knew the woman I married was gone, and the battle for everything I had built was just beginning. The night Jessica went on her date, I did not sleep. I sat in the home office staring at the wall, trying to process what had just happened. Brandon came down around 10 for a snack from the kitchen. "Dad, where is Mom?" he asked, leaning against the doorframe. I struggled to sound normal. "She went out with some friends. She will be back later." He nodded, but I saw the doubt in his eyes. At 16, he was smart enough to realize something was wrong. "Okay. Good night, Dad." "Good night, son." When he went back upstairs, I grabbed my laptop and did something I never thought I would do. I checked our bank account. The joint account Jessica and I shared showed transactions I did not recognize. A dinner at a fancy Italian restaurant downtown, a designer clothing store, a visit to a spa last Tuesday. She had not mentioned any of this to me. I clenched my jaw as I kept scrolling. 3 months of charges, all small enough not to raise immediate suspicion, but together they painted a clear picture. She had been planning this. Around 2 in the morning, I heard the garage door open. Jessica came in, the sound of her heels echoing on the hardwood floors. She looked refreshed, happy even. That hurt more than anything. "You are still up?" she asked, setting her purse on the counter. I got up from the couch, keeping my distance. "How was your date?" She shrugged, avoiding eye contact. "It was fine. Look, Ryan, I know you are upset, but this is not about you." "Not about me?" My voice rose despite my efforts to stay calm. "Jessica, you are my wife. You are the mother of our children. Everything you do affects us." She turned to look at me, her expression hardening. "I'm tired of just being Ryan's wife. No, the kids, Mom. I need to be myself." "And who is this guy you need to be yourself with?" I asked, stepping closer. "What is his name?" "Tyler," she said defiantly. "He is a sales manager at work. He listens to me, Ryan. He makes me feel seen." Tyler, now the ghost, had a name. "How long?" I asked quietly. She hesitated. "A few months." It started just as conversations, but a few months. The betrayal hit me like a physical blow. "You have been lying to me for months." Jessica grabbed her purse and headed for the stairs. I'm not discussing this tonight. I'm exhausted. I watched her walk away, each step twisting the knife deeper. But when the bedroom door closed upstairs, something shifted inside me. The pain began to crystallize into something else. Determination. She wanted to play games while she had underestimated who she was playing against. The next morning, I made a decision. I called my brother Cale. I need your help, I said when he answered. Jessica is having an affair, and I need to know everything. Cale hesitated. I know a guy, the best private investigator in Phoenix. Let me make a call. After hanging up, I looked at the family photo on my desk. Jessica, me, Brandon, and Emma, all smiling on a beach vacation 3 years ago. That version of us was gone. Now it was time to fight for what was left. On Friday morning, I met Cale at a coffee shop near my warehouse. He was already there when I arrived, sipping a cup of black coffee. My older brother had always been the level-headed one, a successful electrical contractor who had seen his fair share of life's setbacks. You look terrible, Cale said as I slid into the booth. I feel worse, I replied, ordering a coffee from the waitress. Thanks for coming. Cale leaned forward, his expression serious. Tell me everything. I told him everything. Jessica's announcement, the date, the bank statements. Tyler Brox. With every detail, Cale's jaw tightened. 18 years. He said, shaking his head, and she throws it all away for some kid from her office. Apparently, I stirred my coffee, exhaustion weighing heavily on me. I need to know what I'm up against, Cale. An emotional affair, or has it gone further? Cale pulled out his phone. I called Greg Whitaker this morning. The best PI in the business. He is expensive, but worth every penny. He did some surveillance work for one of my clients who was going through a nasty divorce. The guy is a bloodhound. He texted me Greg's number. Call him today. The sooner you know what you are facing, the sooner you can protect yourself and the kids. And what about Jessica, I asked. A part of me still wants to fix this. Cale's expression hardened. Ryan, listen to me. The woman you married would not have done this. Whatever Jessica has become, she is not thinking about you or those kids. You need to accept that and start protecting what matters. His words hurt because they were true. Is there anything else? Cale continued. You need to see a lawyer. Even if you are not ready to file, you need to know your options. Amanda Foster handled my friend's custody case. She is tough as nails and takes no prisoners. I nodded, feeling the weight of reality settling on me. This was not just about a crumbling marriage anymore, it was about survival. One more thing, C. said, lowering his voice. Do not let Jessica know what you are doing. No confrontations, no threats. Quietly gather evidence. Get your affairs in order, and when the time comes, hit her with everything at once. It sounds cold, I said. It is strategic, Cale corrected. She has already shown you who she is. Believe her. After breakfast, I sat in my truck and called Greg Whiter. He answered on the second ring. Greg Whiter. Mr. Whiter, my name is Ryan Mishi. My brother Cale gave me your number. I need your help. Tell me what is wrong, Greg said, his voice professional, but not unkind. I explained the situation. Jessica's affair. Tyler Brox, the need for evidence. I can help you, Greg said. But I need everything you have. Phone numbers, addresses, work schedules. The more information you give me, the faster I can work. When can we meet? This afternoon at 2. I will text you my office address. As I drove to the warehouse, something changed inside me. The pain was still there, but underneath was something harder, sharper, a determination to protect my children and everything I had built. Jessica wanted to play. She was about to learn that I did not play to lose. Greg Whiter's office was in a nondescript building in downtown Phoenix. Nothing fancy, just functional, which told me he spent his money on results, not appearances. The man himself was in his 50s with short gray hair and wore jeans and a polo shirt. Ex-military, I guess, from his posture. Ryan M., he asked, extending his hand. That is me, I said, shaking it. His grip was firm, confident. Take a seat, Greg said, pointing to a chair in front of his desk. Cale speaks very highly of you. Says you are in a tough spot. I handed him a folder. I had prepared printed bank statements, Jessica's work schedule, Tyler Brox's information I had found on LinkedIn, and screenshots of suspicious charges. Greg thumbed through the documents with an unreadable expression. After a few minutes, he looked up. Your wife is not being subtle, he said. That is good for us. It makes my job easier. Do you want to know if this Tyler guy is the only one? The question hit me like a punch. Do you think she could be seeing others? In my experience, when someone is willing to throw away an 18-year marriage so casually, it is usually not their first time doing it, Greg said bluntly. But we will find out. I will watch her. I will follow her movements. I will document everything. Photos, videos, everything. My stomach churned at the thought, but I nodded. How long? Give me a week, maybe two. If she is careful, but from what you are showing me, she is not trying very hard to hide it. Greg leaned back in his chair. I have to ask, are you prepared for what I might find? I thought of Brandon and Emma, of the house we had built together, of 18 years of memories that now felt tainted. I need to know the truth, I said firmly. Whatever it is, good. Greg pulled out a contract. My retainer is $5,000. I charge $200 an hour plus expenses. Everything I find is admissible in court, photographed, documented. You will receive a full report. I did not hesitate. I took out my checkbook and wrote the amount. This was no longer about money. One more thing, Greg said as I got up to leave. Do not change your behavior with your wife. Act normally. Do not let on that you suspect anything beyond what she has already admitted. If she thinks you are investigating her, she will become very discreet, and my job will get much harder. Understood. I said. That afternoon, I came home to find Jessica cooking dinner as if nothing had happened. Emma was setting the table, chattering about her day at school. Hi, Daddy, Emma said, running to hug me. I hugged her back, fighting to keep my voice steady. Hi, sweetie. How was school? Good. We are learning about the solar system. Jessica looked over from the stove. Dinner is almost ready. I met her eyes, seeing a stranger looking back at me, but I smiled and nodded. It smells great. We sat down at the table as a family, Brandon quiet, as usual, Emma talking nonstop about the planets. Jessica acted as if nothing was wrong, as if she had not just detonated our entire lives. I played along, asking questions, laughing at Emma's jokes, but inside I was counting the days until Greg Whittaker gave me the ammunition I needed. Because when the time came, Jessica was going to learn exactly what happened when you betrayed a man who had given you everything. 10 days later, Greg Whittaker called. We need to meet. I have what you asked for. My stomach tightened. A part of me hoped he would not find anything, that Jessica's date was just a moment of temporary insanity, but Greg's tone told me otherwise. I met him at his office. That afternoon, he had a thick folder waiting on his desk, and his expression was grim. Before I show you this, Greg said, I want to make sure you are ready. What is in here is going to hurt. I took a deep breath. Show me. He opened the folder. The first photograph showed Jessica and Tyler Brox entering a hotel in Tempe. The timestamp read, 3 days ago, 2:17 p.m. My hands trembled as I turned to the next image. Them at a restaurant, Jessica laughing, her hand on his arm. Another photo showed them kissing in a parking lot. There is more, Greg said quietly. This is not recent. I checked some records. This has been going on for at least 6 months, maybe longer. 6 months, half a year of lies. I found something else. Greg continued, pulling out another document. Financial records. Jessica has been transferring money from your joint account to a separate account. About $40,000 over the last 4 months. The betrayal hit me like a physical blow. She was not just having an affair. She was stealing from me, planning her exit strategy while I worked 60 hours a week to support her family. There is one more thing you should know, Greg said, his voice careful. This Tyler Brox guy is 31, single, works in sales at her company. But here is the interesting part. He has been asking her for information about your business contacts. I think he has been trying to use your connections to get contracts. My vision blurred with rage. He is using her. It looks that way. I did some digging. He is ambitious. Not exactly known for his ethics. Your wife might think this is some great love story, but to him, she is a means to an end. I closed the folder, my hands shaking. And the affair itself. Physical proof. Greg hesitated. Hotel records show they have checked in together 7 times in the last 2 months. I have photos of them going in and out. I cannot get pictures of what happens inside, but the circumstantial evidence is overwhelming. I stood up abruptly. I needed to move, to do something with the fury building inside me. All this time, I said, my voice hoarse, she has been playing the victim, acting like I was the problem. People justify their actions however they need to, Greg said. But the facts do not lie. You have everything you need for court. Infidelity, financial misconduct, premeditation. Your lawyer is going to have a field day with this. I took the folder. It somehow weighed more than it should. Thanks, Greg. Ryan, he said as I reached the door. One last piece of advice, do not confront her yet. Take this to your lawyer first. Let her build your case. Emotion makes people stupid, and you need to be smart right now. I nodded, though every fiber of my being wanted to drive home and throw those photos in Jessica's face. Instead, I sat in my truck in a parking lot and called Amanda Foster. Amanda speaking. Miss Foster, my name is Ryan Mishi. I need to file for divorce. Amanda Foster's law firm was in North Scottsdale. All glass and steel, professional, intimidating, exactly what I needed. The woman herself was in her 50s, dressed in a sharp navy suit, her salt and pepper hair pulled back in a neat bun. "Mr. Mishi," she said, shaking my hand firmly. "Kale spoke very highly of you. Have a seat." I sat across from her desk and slid Greg's folder across the table. "This is what I'm dealing with." Amanda opened it. Her expression remained neutral as she reviewed the photographs, the financial records, and the surveillance reports. After several minutes, she looked up. "Your wife's lawyer is going to have a very bad day," she said with a hint of satisfaction in her voice. "This is irrefutable. Infidelity, financial misconduct. And if you are interested in pursuing that route, I can argue a case for fraud." "What about my kids?" I asked. "Brandon is 16, Emma is 11. I want primary custody." Amanda nodded, taking notes. "With this evidence, you have a very strong case. Your wife's behavior shows poor judgment and a disregard for the family's well-being. We will file for temporary custody immediately, along with an injunction preventing her from accessing joint accounts or making major financial decisions. How long does this take? If she contests it, it could take 6 months to a year. But given what you have shown me, I do not think she will have much of an argument." Amanda leaned back. "Here is what we are going to do. We will file this week. The sheriff will serve her with the papers, probably at work. It will be public, it will be humiliating, and that is the point. We want her to understand immediately that she is no longer in control." Good. I clenched my jaw. "There is one thing you need to be prepared for," Amanda continued, her tone serious. "She is going to lash out. Women like your wife, when they realize they have been caught, they get desperate. She will try to paint you as the villain, abusive, controlling, whatever narrative she thinks will work. You need to document everything from now on. Every conversation, every text, every interaction. Do you understand?" "Do you have a place for the kids to stay for a few days after she gets served?" Amanda asked. "Things could get ugly. I thought of Kale, my brother's house. They can stay there if needed." "Good." Amanda stood up, extending her hand. "I will have the papers ready by tomorrow. You are doing the right thing, Ryan. Your children are lucky to have a father willing to fight for them." Leaving her office, I felt something I had not felt in weeks. Hope. Not for my marriage that was dead and buried, but hope that I could salvage something from the wreckage. Hope that Brandon and Emma would come out of this okay. That evening, I sat down with Brandon in my office. At 16, he deserved to know what was coming. "Dad, what is going on?" he asked, sensing the gravity of the moment. I took a deep breath. "Your mother and I are getting a divorce. I'm filing the papers this week." His face paled. "It is because of her date." So he knew more than I thought. "Yes, buddy, because of that, and a lot of other things. I'm fighting for custody of you and Emma. I need you to trust me. I'm doing this to protect you both." Brandon was silent for a long moment. Then he looked at me. "Dad, I want to stay with you. Whatever happens, I want to stay with you." Those words broke something inside me, but I held it together. "I'm going to make sure that happens." After he left, I stared at the family photo on my desk. The last remnant of a life that no longer existed. Tomorrow the war would begin in earnest. And this time I was ready. The sheriff served Jessica with the papers at work on a Thursday afternoon. I was not there to see it, but a friend of Kale's who worked in the same building told me about it. She came out of her office, her face pale, clutching the envelope as if it were going to explode. She stormed through the front door at 6, the papers in her hand, her face twisted with rage. "What the hell is this?" Jessica screamed, throwing the divorce papers on the kitchen counter where I was helping Emma with her homework. "Emma, go to your room, sweetie," I said calmly. My daughter looked between us, fear in her eyes, but she obeyed. When she was upstairs, I turned to Jessica. "It is exactly what it says. I'm filing for divorce and primary custody. You cannot do this." Her voice rose to a shriek. "You cannot take my children from me." "I'm not taking them," I said, my voice even. "You abandoned them when you decided Tyler Brox was more important than your family." Jessica's face flushed. "This is about control. You have always been a controller, Ryan. Always needing to know where I'm. What I'm doing." I took out my phone and opened a folder of photographs Greg had provided. "This is about 18 years of marriage that you threw away for a 31-year-old guy who is using you for your business contacts. Did you really think Tyler cared about you, or did you just not care that he was using you?" Her eyes widened as she saw the photos. "You had me followed. You invaded my privacy. You stole $40,000 from our joint account," I said, my voice hardening. "You have been lying for 6 months. You have no right to talk to me about privacy." Jessica grabbed onto the counter, her defiance crumbling. "Ryan, please, we can fix this. I made a mistake, but we can get through it." "No," I said firmly. "You are not going to play the victim now. You made your decision. Now live with the consequences." She tried a different approach. Her voice softened. "Think about the children. Brandon and Emma need their mother. Do not do this to them. I'm thinking about the children, I replied, and that is why I'm making sure they have a stable parent. You can have supervised visits. The court will decide the rest. Jessica's expression shifted to something ugly. You are going to regret this. I will tell everyone what you have done. I will make sure everyone knows what kind of man you really are. Go ahead, I said, looking her in the eye. I have 18 years of being a good husband and father. You have 6 months of hotel receipts and lies. Let's see who people believe. She grabbed her purse and stormed towards the door. Then she turned back. This is not over, Ryan. Yes, it is. After she left, Brandon came downstairs. He had obviously been listening. Dad, are we going to be okay? He asked quietly. I put my arm around his shoulders. Yes, son, we are going to be okay. 2 days after Jessica was served, she exploded on Facebook. I woke up Saturday morning to dozens of notifications, friends, colleagues, and even clients messaging me about her post. I opened Facebook and my stomach churned. After 18 years of marriage, I have finally found the courage to speak my truth, Jessica had written. I have endured years of emotional manipulation and control. My husband has isolated me from my friends, monitored my every move, and made me feel like I was losing my mind. I stayed for my children, but I cannot anymore. To anyone in a similar situation, you are not alone. Speak your truth, survival story. The post had over 200 reactions and dozens of comments, mostly from her friends offering support, but a few questioning her. My phone rang. It was Kale. Have you seen this garbage? My brother demanded. Right now, Ryan. You have to respond. She is destroying your reputation. Amanda told me not to engage. I said, though my hands were shaking with anger. Let her dig her own grave. At least screenshot everything. This is defamation. Your lawyer can use it. I spent the next hour documenting Jessica's post and every comment. Then something unexpected happened. A comment from Rachel Coleman, one of Jessica's lifelong friends. Jess, I love you, but this does not add up. Ryan has been nothing but supportive of you. Maybe you should handle this privately. Within minutes, Rachel's comment was deleted and Jessica had blocked her. Then my phone rang. It was Rachel. Ryan, I'm so sorry. She said immediately. I did not want to get involved, but I cannot stay silent. Jessica has been bragging about Tyler for months. She told me you were boring, that she deserved better. This victim act is complete nonsense. Would you be willing to testify to that? I asked. Rachel hesitated, then said firmly, yes, she is lying, and your kids do not deserve this. Thank you, Rachel. I forwarded everything to Amanda, who called within the hour. This is gold, Amanda said, satisfaction in her voice. She is committing libel in real time. We will add it to the lawsuit. And Rachel's testimony is going to destroy Jessica's credibility. That afternoon, I got another call from a number I did not recognize. Mr. Mishi, I'm Victoria Brox, Tyler's ex-wife. My heart instantly sped up. Mrs. Brox, what can I do for you? I know what your wife and my ex-husband have been up to, Victoria said, her voice tight with anger. And I think you should know that Jessica was not Tyler's first affair. He has a pattern. He targets older women in corporate settings, uses them for their contacts, and then moves on. Would you be willing to share what you know? I asked. Absolutely, Victoria said. Tyler destroyed my family. If I can help prevent him from doing the same to yours, I will. I have texts, emails, everything. Your wife is not special to him. She is just another one of his victims. After I hung up, I called Amanda again. We have Tyler Brox's ex-wife willing to testify. She has proof that Jessica is just one in a pattern. Amanda laughed. A real laugh. Ryan, your wife just handed us the case on a silver platter. Between Rachel, Victoria, the financial records, and her social media meltdown, she does not stand a chance. For the first time in weeks, I allowed myself to feel something like relief. The courtroom was packed on the day of the final hearing. Jessica sat at the defendant's table with her lawyer, a young guy who looked like he wished he were anywhere else. Amanda sat beside me, her folder full of evidence, her expression confident. The judge, a woman in her 60s named Ellen Rodriguez, reviewed the case file as we waited. Finally, she looked up. This court will hear testimony on the matter of custody and division of assets in the matter of Mishi versus Mishi, Judge Rodriguez said. Miss Foster, you may begin. Amanda stood up, immediately commanding the room. Your Honor, this case is straightforward. Mr. Mishi has been a devoted father and husband for 18 years. The evidence will show that Mrs. Mishi carried on a prolonged extramarital affair, committed financial fraud by stealing $40,000 from the joint accounts, and demonstrated a pattern of deceit that makes her unfit for primary custody. She presented Greg's photographs, the financial records, and Rachel Coleman's testimony. Then Victoria Brox took the stand. Mrs. Brox, how do you know the defendant? Amanda asked. Jessica Mishi is having an affair with my ex-husband. Victoria said clearly. Tyler has a pattern of targeting married women in corporate settings. He uses them for their business contacts and then discards them. I have proof that he has been asking Mrs. Mishi and about her husband's automotive contacts to benefit his own career. Jessica's lawyer tried to object, but Judge Rodriguez overruled him. Continue, Ms. Foster. Rachel testified next, describing how Jessica had bragged about the affair and shown no remorse. Then Brandon took the stand. Brandon, how has your mother's behavior affected you? Amanda asked gently. My son's voice was steady, mature for his 16 years. She stopped being present. She was always on her phone, always going out. My dad has been the one helping with homework, cooking dinner, making sure Emma and I were okay. I want to live with him. I watched Jessica's face crumble as her son spoke, but I felt no satisfaction, only sadness for what she had destroyed. Jessica's lawyer tried to paint her as a victim of a controlling husband, but it did not work. When Jessica took the stand, Amanda destroyed her credibility with surgical precision. Mrs. Mishi, you stated in your social media post that your husband was controlling, yet you had free access to all the bank accounts. Correct, yes, but you used that access to steal $40,000 over 4 months. Jessica's face flushed. I was not stealing. I was protecting myself. Protecting yourself by funding an extramarital affair. Amanda's voice was sharp. No further questions, Your Honor. Judge Rodriguez took a short recess, then returned with her decision. I have reviewed all the evidence and testimony, she said. Mrs. Mishi's actions and demonstrate a profound lack of judgment and a disregard for the well-being of her children. Mr. Mishi is hereby granted primary physical custody of both minor children. Mrs. Mishi will have supervised visits every other weekend to be reviewed in 9 months. Furthermore, Mrs. Mishi is ordered to return the $40,000 she withdrew without consent plus court costs and a portion of Mr. Mishi's legal fees. The judge's gavel sounded, and it was all over. Jessica sat frozen, her lawyer whispering urgently in her ear. I stood up, shook Amanda's hand, and walked out of that courtroom with my head held high. Outside, Brandon and Emma were waiting with Kale. Emma ran to me, and I scooped her up in my arms. Is it over, Daddy? She asked. Yes, sweetie. It is over. We are going home. 8 months after the divorce was final, life had found its rhythm again. Brandon was thriving in his junior year of high school, even talking about colleges. Emma had joined the soccer team and was making new friends. The house felt lighter, as if we could all finally breathe. I had sold the Scottsdale house. Too many bad memories. And bought a smaller one in North Phoenix with a big backyard. The kids had helped me pick it out, and it felt like ours in a way the old house never did. The automotive business was doing better than ever. It turns out when you are not emotionally wrecked by your spouse's betrayal, you can focus on work. I had landed 2 major contracts and hired 3 new employees. Jessica's supervised visits were awkward at first. She would show up looking diminished, quiet in a way she had never been before. Tyler had left her 2 months after the divorce was finalized, exactly as Victoria had predicted. Apparently, once Jessica lost access to my business contacts, he no longer had a use for her. One Saturday afternoon, Jessica asked if she could speak with me after dropping Emma off. What is it? I asked, keeping my tone neutral. I wanted to say I'm sorry, Jessica said, her eyes red. For everything I destroyed our family because I was selfish and stupid. I do not expect you to forgive me, but I wanted you to know I regret all of it. I studied her for a long moment. The anger that had sustained me through the worst of it was gone, replaced by something closer to pity. I appreciate you saying that, I said finally, but it does not change anything. You made choices, and we all have to live with them. I know, she whispered. Can I ask one thing? Can I spend more time with the kids? I want to rebuild that relationship. I thought about Brandon and Emma, about their right to a relationship with their mother. If she was willing to put in the work, if you can prove to the court that you are stable, a job, therapy, no more Tylers or anyone like him, then we could talk about modifying the custody agreement, but it is up to you to earn it. Jessica nodded, tears streaming down her face. Thank you, Ryan. I will do better, I promise. As she left, I felt something unexpected. Hope not for us, but for her to become someone our children could respect again. That night, I barbecued in the backyard, while Brandon threw a ball with Emma. Kale came by with beers and his famous potato salad. You look happy, my brother said, handing me a cold one. I replied, watching my kids laugh. It took a hell of a lot to get here, but yes, I'm happy. You did good, little brother. You protected those kids, and you kept your dignity. That is what matters. Later, after everyone had gone to bed, I stood on the back porch looking at the stars. 18 years of my life had been built on a foundation that turned out to be sand. But from the wreckage, I had built something stronger, a home where my children felt safe, where honesty mattered, where we did not have to walk on eggshells. Jessica had tried to destroy me, but she had failed because I learned something important through it all. Strength is not about never falling, it is about getting up, dusting yourself off, and fighting for what matters. And that is exactly what I had done.